Hi, I'm Holly Pike from Artistic Cutworks. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to talk about doing crystal templates. Now I've already cut this on my Cameo and you can see it's little bitty tiny holes, and the software puts those holes in there for a specific size crystal. And today we're using 6SS, and we're using Swarovski crystals, which are really high quality, kind of expensive but beautiful, and they'll last a lifetime crystals. So everything that I'm telling you will be considering the Swarovski crystals. So I've cut my template, and the sticky flock is a sticky backing. And now I should have stuck this on a Teflon cookie sheet, but I thought it would come off of here. So I can make lots and lots of H's, which is my initial, so I'm not concerned about that. But if you're using the sticky flock, you can cut it, stick it down on a Teflon cookie sheet, and then peel it right back off and put it back on the backing and have it to use many times. So if you're doing lots of hats, lots of shirts, lots of different things, repetitive things, you can do that and use it over and over again. It's not just a one-time use. So we have our crystal template cut. Now we're going to take our crystals, and you can see that the 6SS crystals are really tiny. They're very tiny. And I'm going to put my glasses on because tiny is kind of hard to see. The back of this crystal is pink. You probably can't see it there. You can see it. That is not the glue. It's the reflective paper behind the glue. The top of the crystal is clear. You could probably see it maybe better here. The top of this particular crystal is clear. So what we want to do is we want to get these so that they're in this mold with the crystals right side up. This way, right side up. So that when we pick it up with the Mylar, I'm going to peel this Mylar that is heat safe press. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to stick it down there and pick the crystals up, and then place it on my item and take it to the heat press. So that's the process. So let's go ahead and do this. And the more crystals you can put on here, the better. This may or may not be enough. I'm going to take this little brush. It's kind of like a little fuzzy brush. You can get them at most craft stores. And I'm just going to kind of brush them in gently. You can see how they're starting to just pop right into place there. The more crystals you use, the better. And I can pour some more in here to make it quicker. Crystals are expensive, so you want to be able to be sure that you get them back out and into your packaging so that you still have some to use on another project. I'm just brushing them in here, and you can see that they're all just starting to fall into place beautifully. And the brush somehow gets them so that they're the right side up for us, which is really, I find this fascinating. And the first time you do it, you'll be like, wow, that was just like the coolest thing I've ever done. You just kind of keep brushing them until they all are in their spots. And if you have one or two that aren't, we can pick them up with the tweezers and just drop them into place. But the brushing is the best and the easiest way to do this. And it'll pop the ones out that are upside down and keep the right side up ones in there, which is what we want. We want the pretty side up because the glue side needs to be down. There's one where the glue side is up. We'll fix that here in a minute. This is a lot better than placing crystals individually. We used to do that years ago when we started using crystals in embroidery. So I'm just going to brush these away, out of the way. And I'm going to place the rest of them using my tweezers because I want to show you these tweezers. They are truly awesome. I use them a lot, well, exclusively for my silhouette Cameo projects. But you can see we've got some empty spots. So I'm just going to pick up a little tiny crystal with my tweezers. Look at how fine that is. And just drop that into place like that. Pick this one up. They are tiny. They are very tiny. I don't know what size this equates to in millimeters, but it definitely is tiny. You can also pick them up by pressing your finger on them. It's another way to do it, and then they kind of indent into your finger and you can pick them up. I could have just kept brushing, but I want you to see that it is possible to just fill in a spot or two with a really good pair of tweezers. And these tweezers come from Glitter Eye Candy or crystalEyeCandy.com. There's an extra one there. And everything looks good now. Everybody's in there. Everybody's in their spot. So the tweezers come from Crystal Eye Candy or Glitter Eye Candy, and they're called Weed and Pick tweezers. She also has a vinyl pick and soon a spatula for paperwork. So that's really all there is to putting the crystals in here, and I just love this. Now you're going to want to put your sticky stuff down quickly. Did you see those move? Okay, so they move. So now we're going to have to get them off of there and give this just another try. Takes a little practice. If you haven't done it in a while, then, you're going to have to practice a little bit. You want to lay your Mylar down quickly so that nothing moves. Okay. We're good. Don't want to lose those crystals because they are valuable. The more you put in your tray, the easier it is to brush them. Sometimes it takes me a couple tries to get my Mylar down, but that's not a big deal. When you do it all the time, it goes so much quicker and easier, and, kind of like anything else, gets easier with practice. All right, we're looking pretty good here. I'm going to brush them off to the side because I don't want to lose any crystals if I can help it. Okay, so let's fix a couple. They do bounce around a little bit. I think the air conditioner behind me might be complicating things. But see, if it doesn't work for me the first time, then it doesn't work for you the first time. You're not going, oh my gosh, I just can't do this. Sure you can. You can do it. Okay. Now we're good. Everything's good. All right, let's see if time 2 works. There we go. Lay it on the side and just rub it down. Now I'm going to press on this because I want to pick up all the crystals at one time. The Mylar is sticky on the back, and I want to pick up all these crystals at one time and lay them onto my project. Now let me quickly go see if my heat press is up to temperature. It's good. Okay, we'll peel this up. And hopefully everything will stick. Go slowly, because if something doesn't stick, you want to be able to lay it right back down and put that in place. As you've noticed with most of the projects that I've done videos for, we do everything slowly because you don't know when you're taking something sticky off something what's going to happen. So here we are. How pretty and sparkly that is. I'm going to lay it down here. I'm going to lay it with my zipper open over here, and I have a Teflon sheet inside. I'm right-handed, so I open that way. And I'm just going to lay it down here. You can measure. You can do all that, the measuring and all that kind of stuff, and make sure that you're perfectly centered. That's what you'd like to do. I'm going to press the sticky Mylar down because I have to pick this up. If I pick it up and it's not stuck down, I'm afraid some crystals might pop out and, go wandering off where we don't want them to wander. Okay, let's take this over to our heat press now. I'm going to lay this under the heat press. Please be careful. You can do this with an iron. And if you do it with an iron, you want your iron on hot, but never the wool setting. Ever. Never the wool setting. Now, if you're using Swarovski crystals, you can use a lower temperature. So I'm going to use about 290 on my heat press for about 20 to 25 seconds to make sure that glue really seeps down into the fabric. I want it to seep into the fabric so it really holds on, because these crystals can be washed. I would turn this inside out, but they could be washed. If you're using Korean crystals, Korean crystals are going to be a little bit different. And the bigger the crystal, the longer the time you're going to put it under the heat press, because you have more glue, more surface. If your crystal is as big as my finger, you have more surface than these little guys. So it takes some time and you have to be patient. So I'm just going to lower my heat press, push it down. I've got it set to 22 seconds and it's just going to run its course here. You get a little nervous when you're waiting because you're thinking, oh my gosh, I must be burning something. Now, I didn't put my Teflon over it, but that should be okay. With the heat press. This is going to be hot. So you really don't want to touch any more than you have to. It's going to be very, very hot. When it's cool enough to the top, when it's cool, we want to let this cool really good before we peel it. I want that glue to solidify in this bag so that we can pull it off. And again, when we pull it off, we're going to pull it off slowly, because if a crystal doesn't stick, we're going to put this bag down and put it under for a little bit longer. Okay, this feels pretty good. And it should peel off real easy this time. Really, really easy. Okay, success. I'm going to let it cool for another minute or two. And then what we want to do is I want to rub my hand over it really good, because if a crystal is going to come out, this is when I want to know. I want to know now, particularly if I'm making a gift or doing something for a customer. I want to know if the crystal is going to come off now. And if it does, I can then take my tweezers, put it back in place and put it under the heat press and give it a little heat and warm it up. Or take a little iron and hit one crystal and really make it glue down. Okay? So now you can see I'm just going to brush these. And this is a little nerve-wracking because you're like, oh my gosh, what if they come off? What if they come off? I'm not using my fingernail. Flat finger and just kind of being a little bit rough. And if they're going to come off, I want them off now. I have shirts that I have washed over and over with crystals on them. And my friend Dawn, who owns Crystal Eye Candy and Glitter Eye Candy, she's been doing crystals for, golly, 15 years at least. And all of her shirts have crystals. And I know that they're laundered a lot. Okay, it looks like we're good to go. So here's our bag with finished crystals. Really easy. You just have to be patient. So go cut some crystal templates and have some fun. Again, this is Holly Pike from Artistic Cutworks. Thanks for joining me today.